Good morning, viewers around the world. My name is Mark Godwin Iwejuwa, and I'm stepping on the big shoe size of my brother, Dr. Shegun Johnson, that is currently in an official visit to Africa. So we will be going through the news echo African affairs today, and there's so much to talk about. You're welcome to this beautiful Wednesday, the 19th of October 2022. And joining me in the discussion, News Echoes, is our very good big brother, Sir George Chukwu. Sir George Chukwu, welcome, sir.
Good morning, Mike Godwin. Good morning all around the world. Greetings from Canada. Thank you for watching us.
Thank you for joining also. Sir George, a lot has been happening the past week. We know what is going on in our country. We are on our pathway to the 2023 election. And it seems like a very, very, very tough one. But this morning, we want to look into the campaign trail, speeches that have been made by the different presidential candidates. We're looking into some of what they think is utterances, but we see it otherwise. This morning, Sir George, last week, one of the presidential candidates of the APC party, and that's Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he made a speech. He was in an event, I think a women event somewhere in Nigeria, and he said something. Sir George, let's listen to this and we can give our views.
If they say they want a change of government, just tell them, we like to be polite, but shut up your mouth.
Yes, so you heard him right.
I think what the average northerner needs is somebody who is from the north and who also understands the other parts of Nigeria and who has been able to build bridges across the rest of the country. This is what the northerner needs. He doesn't need a Yoruba candidate or an Igbo candidate. This is what the northerner needs. So I believe I stand before you as a pan-Nigerian of northern origin.
Sir George.
Yes.
You had it firsthand. Now, this is what is happening. As the campaign season opens, speeches are being made by these various presidential candidates. But I think there are errors in some of these speech. Also, we are looking into who writes speech for these presidential candidates. Nigeria is not a small country, so presidential candidates should be able to have script writers and editors, people that give them what to say in public, because the world is listening. You and I were listening. Nigerians around the world are listening. Even observers are listening. So when speeches are done to discredit a tribe or a race, a people, when speeches are done to make voters look like they are nothing, when it is the voters that will make the number for those candidates, when speeches are made to incite hate, aggravate a very tense atmosphere. How do we say this, Sir George? Let's hear from you, sir.
Yeah, I personally think this is what I call the Trump effects. Trumpism.
Okay.
Trumpism started with Donald Trump, who doesn't care what he says or how he said it. You know, he puts his foot in his mouth many times, but because of having quite a few number of people supporting him regardless of how good or bad he is. He was able to scale through that particular type of campaign. So now you see it going on around the world, but there is something changing also. The acceptance of such a negative campaign where you turn one section of people against the other, people are beginning to recognize that and they're beginning to hate it. So when you see Nigerian politicians, they see that one particular candidate is clamoring and bringing in so many youths and seeing thousands upon thousands, supporting one individual, they get frustrated. So what you are seeing there is elements of frustration in them, because the man they're talking about, the man that is bringing this frustration to them, never talks about them. He talks about the subject matter. He talks about what is wrong with our country. He talks about solution, how we can bring that country to where it's supposed to be. He talks about, redefining the status quo and bringing to limelight what can bring our nation to become what it's supposed to be. That is the difference between the old politics and the new politics. So, the fact of the matter is, it is a matter of frustration. You see them, they don't have any solution for our country. The only solution they've had is how to promise, and then behind the promises, abscond with our money. That's what we have seen in that country.
Thank you very much, Sir George. Yes, it's beautiful. We're also having with us Dr. Sita. Dr. Sita from Abuja, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, George. Thank you, my Godwin. Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here. Yes. Sorry, network has been hell.
It's okay.
Network has been hell. Yes, I am so sorry.
We know how it
is.
Yes. Don't worry.
I'm so sorry I joined late. Yes.
Dr. Sita, there are critical issues we are discussing here. We saw the videos of some of the candidates. Campaign season has opened, so campaign is going on. But some of the candidates are speaking out of control. The candidates are not giving us what we need to hear. They are rather inciting with their speeches, inciting tension, inciting hate, inciting all manner of negativity. So we know the one of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the APC leader, last week, saying if they don't want the new government, they should shut up. And we played that clip. It's not we saying, it's out there. And we also have the one that just happened with the other party presidential candidate saying that the Northerners don't need Yorubas or Igbos. They need him, a Northerner. So all of this, what will you say? You're there in Nigeria. How do you see all of this in terms of campaign?
It's easy to explain, just like George expertly did. It is the chaos theory. Chaos. They are creating confusion. They are creating anathema. They are creating disgust. They are creating nothing because they have nothing to offer. They have done it before in the last 20 years. Now, we now said in the last 8 years, give them a chance to show, and they couldn't show. They couldn't show up, they couldn't show out. I mean, it's such a simple analysis. Then one man comes with complete content and context and pulls it out across the nation, across the world, and everybody is saying, Nigeria has hope. And that hope is not one of them. It's not APC, it's not PDP. So what do you expect? They will say anything they like. I am not particularly citing a party. I am saying that Nigerians have gone through all of this. Look at Nigerians, wherever they are. We are smart, intelligent people. We are everywhere. in Nigeria, in Africa, all across the world. We've done things great. Then you come back to our country, you can't see it. You can't see the greatness. So one man is saying, let's harvest our greatness. Let's bring it back home. Let's harness our potentials and let's make Nigeria great. Nigeria is a great country. All we need is a little time in February, March 2023, and we show the world who we are again. People have come here to invest in Nigeria, and they left because they saw nothing. They will come back. So please, I am saying this to our diaspora. I'm saying this to the Nigerians elsewhere. Don't listen to these frustrations. They are what they call distractions. They are distractions. People are just saying, how can somebody say Nigeria needs another president? What does it mean? It does not mean qualification. We're looking at quality. And please, McGodwin, this is not party politics anymore. No, it's not. Nigerians are not looking for party structures anymore. Everybody you see talking now. I have my classmates who are stalwart PDP, APC members. They call me at night and we talk about it. And they say, Osita, you know what? Let's do this right for a change. We did things right in school. Let's do it right now. So that is what it is. And I'm happy that I'm in my country, this season of my life, and I'm going to see this happen. Everybody has been scared, but this is hope. This is the hope that we're looking for, and it's here already. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is hope. When you speak like this, we really get we get an impact of the hope too. Some comments are going on from networks, and somebody saying we should also play a clip of what Obi said. Yes, we don't want to make it look like we're trying to sell out somebody, to their face. Now we all know that Peter Obi, the Labour Party presidential candidate, hasn't ever had any time where he makes speeches that creates that incites. We all know that. I mean, everybody knows that. Rather, he tells you, vote for quality, vote for best governance, vote for candidates that will deliver. And it's loud and clear all over all channels. He's been saying it and he keeps saying it. So yes, we next time we'll get the clip of him saying some of that. Somebody is also saying, what good will that do? The mere fact that people are Nigerians, some people will still support these men regardless of, and that's a fact. Sir George, what do you say about that statement by one of the viewers? He says people will still support APC, people will still support PDP. Even
the point is that whether you do good or you do bad, there is somebody who will support you, and that is the truth. So some people that benefit from the old government want the old government to continue. When you have your relative there and you are able to get some crumbs from the floor of what they are, stealing, you will still want to support your own, that individual. But the fact of the matter is, there are people that will still support these old people because they're still tribalistic in their endeavors, in the way they think, and they don't really need the quality. Some people don't need, uneducated people usually that are used to certain things, especially in the northern part of Nigeria, will not care who is the president because life goes on as it has been. But when you come to the people who wants to send their children to school, and the schools are closed for 8 solid months without anything being done, because certain people don't care about education, then you have a problem. When you have people who want to go out there in the streets and make money for themselves or want to do business in order to help their families, and nothing is happening, now that's the voices you're hearing today. And I can guarantee you, when the youth gets hungry, I don't mean hungry alone or angry alone, combine both anger and hunger together. When they get angry, like what you're seeing today, you see them, they are desiring. It doesn't matter whether they're from the north, from the south, or from the east, or from the west. It doesn't matter. What they need is a good country, a country that is vibrant, a country that will, give them the opportunity to grow, to make money, to raise their children, to have security. People are listening. They are listening. And what
People
you are
are
seeing
listening.
on the streets today is they are tired of being tired. They are tired of this country, which is called a great giant of Africa. Look at what is going on around. Look at houses being flooded. Who
Yes,
is
we're going to come to that. Sir George, you're going
it's,
to give
it's,
us.
it's really
Yes,
so frustrating
yes.
that it's incredible. So what you're hearing on the streets is people that are tired and they are frustrated and they want a change now, not tomorrow. They don't care about Hausa presidential candidate, Yoruba presidential candidate. They are listening to the quality conversation going on from these candidates, and they want change now.
They won't change now. Strong words from Sir George. Thank you very much. Yes, and that change will come. I believe in the great people of Nigeria. A larger percentage of people, brilliant minds that understands what it is to have change. A larger percentage of that are seeing that they are working towards the real change. But we still have, like somebody said, we still have some people too that believe in the old system. You know, they believe in the old system, and it's sad. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Dr. Sita.
Just said, I don't think they are following. Anybody who is sound and reasonable will follow a fallen candidate, somebody who can. I don't think they're following them. They are following the money, which is a disaster.
Following the money.
Tell me, you see, if one of the candidates were to be my father or my uncle, I will wait and drag him in and say, "Daddy, uncle, sleep. It's your time to go to bed." Because there are better Nigerians there like that, but no, they're on the streets, falling ill, jetting out of hospitals, coming. I mean, it doesn't make sense. It makes Nigeria a stop. Africa is filled up with people like that. We don't want that anymore. So they're following the. Just watch.
Thank you. We didn't hear you too well, but we understand what you're trying to say, Dr. Sita. Thank you very much. Yes. Moving. Yes, it's network. We understand that. Moving forward now, a lot is also happening in Nigeria, apart from the political campaign trail. Sadly, people are suffering presently. There is heavy flood crisis in Nigeria. Dr. Sita, I want you to help us out with this flood situation. What's the new, as at yesterday, here in Schengen, here in Milan, Schengen office, we were able to study some of the situation. About 603 people thereabouts have been declared missing. They've lost their life. That's what it means. And the figure also says 1.3 million people has been displaced. This is what the authorities are telling us. And it's coming from this disaster that has affected about across 30 some Nigeria. The humanitarian affairs office is said they are doing what they can, but we know Nigeria doesn't have very good social and humanitarian arrangements. So you find a lot of people still wallow in real disaster. Some people probably wouldn't have a place to sleep, put their head. Some people wouldn't have food to eat. And Dr. Sita, help us out. You're there in Abuja, and you're probably seeing what is going on. Okay, I think he has network
his internet
issues.
is having issues.
Yes. Sir George, how are you seeing from Canada? What's this flood crisis? And
the flood crisis is as a result of a retarded government. They are retards. You see, when you don't have anything quality or value to offer, then what happens is that you will see the consequences of bad governance. In the 80s, Nigeria made a pact with Cameroon, and that pact that was made would have prevented the loss of these lives and the sufferings of these people. But because they have no quality, valuable addition or maintenance culture, this is as a result of what you're seeing. Cameroon, a little country, our little sister country next door, opens up their dam, the whole entire region is flooded. Can you imagine people losing their properties, their vehicles, unable to go out to shop, unable to go out to sell, unable to, because every place is flooded? And they're reporting 500 and something people are declared missing. You can multiply that by 10. That's how many people that have died, because they don't want to bring it out there. And the question with Nigeria, who is accountable? Nobody holds the government accountable. When you speak up, they bring money, they shut you up. But the time has come in that nation where the oil bunkering that they planned several years ago and been stealing our money, we will ask the question, who did that? There must be an investigation. Who did that? This Cameroonian situation that is flooding Nigeria, and nobody is asking the government, how come nobody took advantage of the opportunities that were there to prevent this disaster in our nation? We're looking at the consequences right now, but nobody is asking questions. Truth is coming out, but who are you going to hold responsible? That is what you call retarded government. And we need a change of government, a change of narratives. We need a paradigm shift in that country politically, because things cannot continue as it is.
Thank you very much, Sir George. Sir George, there's another thing we observe from here. Normally, when there are crises like this during campaign season, presidential candidates use that opportunity to wade in and make some efforts, or also use the opportunity to say what they would do in their tenure at times like this, and sometimes to bring in relief. This is not happening in Nigeria. We've not seen any of the presidential candidates visit any of these flood disaster zone, and we are not seeing any of these candidates also making reference to this whole situation. So, Dr. Sita, what's the problem with that? Why are they taking their eyes away from this very terrible, sad reality that's befalling Nigeria? People being wiped off from their homes as a result of flood. Families are dying. There's a video that went viral of a family of about 6 that all died in their sleep because the water came up when they were sleeping. And we've seen very little. The humanitarian ministry of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is what we are seeing is it's too minor compared to what should be done. Sir George, what do you think? Candidates are not following up. Nobody's connecting this to their campaign. What will you say about that?
One of the things that you see in Nigeria is that most of these candidates are not willing because they don't have the answers. Therefore, they avoid the questions. Mm-hmm. So the reason why they haven't gone, I don't know. But if you don't know what the questions are, you're trying to give an answer, you will sound like a fool. So one of the major problems we have in Nigeria, like what you're saying right now, if it was in North America, you would have seen the president of Nigeria visiting the site, trying to bring national troops, the Navy, to help some of these people, trying to find a solution, even if it's going to be an international solution, trying to openly negotiate with the country for them to stop this dam for now until things happen. But you don't hear anything like that. You know a dead fish when it starts thinking from the head. And that is what you're seeing in the current Nigerian retarded government. And it's been like that for the past decade or 2 decades. So, like I said before, if you was in North America, the first thing you will see, the president will make arrangement to go to see what is going on and discuss the possible solutions to the problem. But the situation is so frustrating to them. They don't know, they have no answers. Therefore, they avoid the questions.
Thank you very
That's
much.
what you're saying.
So, to our viewers around the world listening to us, yes, Nigeria is experiencing is an annual flooding time season, but especially the coastline areas of Nigeria. But this year's flood is the worst so far. Is the worst in more than a decade, and authorities are blaming this disaster on the release of excess water from a dam in Cameroon, neighboring country Cameroon, called Lagdo Dam in the neighboring country called Cameroon is where the excess water is flooding from. And the Lagdo also is being opened up because there's excess on that other side too. So it's a sad situation. Of here from the Schengen Story News Echo team, we really seek for a relief to our people that are made destitute because of this situation, and we hope to we hope the government comes into this whole play. The government should really step in with more force, and we also call on all the presidential candidates to do more and have make their campaign part of the campaign activities center on this flood disaster in Nigeria. So on that note, we say thank you to those listening. Yes, Sir George, we're moving on, and there are more things. But before we go on a break, Sir George, do you want to quickly give us any updates on political issues, security issues in Nigeria? We know yesterday we had in Zamfara, there is still banditry. So we thought the banditry thing would be over by now, but it's still increasing. How do we go into election if the bandits will be running our streets on election days? How do we go into election if the bandits are probably going to kidnap people that will come to police station? How do we go into election and have real accurate election days if the bandits are going to be wreaking havoc all around Nigeria? Sir George, what do you say?
Well, I think we are going to go on a break right now because it's almost that time.
Yes, sir.
When we come back, we will start with that discussion.
Okay.
I believe that is, if I start talking now, we'll go to, the bills have to be paid. Yeah. So I believe that it will be best for us when we come back, then we can start that discussion.
Thank you very much. Yes, I appreciate that. Thank you. So, viewers, this is Schengen Story Media News Echoes. Today, Wednesday, 19th of October, 2022. And we are giving our African Global updates with Sir George from Canada and Dr. Sita from Abuja. So we'll be back in a minute or two. Let's take this short break. Thank you.
Schengen Story magazine is an African international bi-monthly magazine based in Milan, Italy, and founded in 2016. The publication focuses on personalities, fashion, style, entrepreneurship, and culture for Africans. Though articles on food, movies, fitness, music, travel, sports, technology, and books are also featured. Our lives full of best stories. A lot can happen in a month. Expand your mind, change your world. Get Schengen Story magazine's full editions. Celebrating Africans make an impact. Read better. The Inside Story. Your fashion magazine for a better lifestyle. Inspiring stories for you. Your monthly dose of entertainment. A better mind keeping you updated.
Hi there, I'm Mary Keurig, and I am a businesswoman in the United States, but I'm also the Global Content Vice President for the Sub-Saharan Open University in Nigeria. I could not be prouder to work with Dr. Osita Anamika and his team on helping to create not just entrepreneurs and skill-based talent that will get out into the workforce and make a living for themselves, but also young leaders. And to that end, with this integrity-rich university environment that's accredited now, and it's just an amazing opportunity for anyone there of any age to jump on board and learn, we want to let you know about a new offering that we have. We have a global governance and diplomacy course now provided by a whole team of people that crosses several countries to put together these resources and lots of great information for those of you who might be on the path toward public service and diplomatic service, NGO leadership, that sort of thing. We hope that you will walk through this open door and enjoy.
When I wrote the book, The Final Solution, the Lord gave me some things in the spirit realm to see going to happen here. And that is why you need to get a copy of this book, not because of the purchase, but because of the contents. We've not spent 2 weeks. Now we have seen the problem in Ukraine, Russia, and Belarus, Donetsk, Luhansk, and all the other surrounding nations, talk less of the Western countries and the Eastern countries. We want to pray that this stops where it is. Some people are even imagining a third world war. I pray that there'll be no third world war. But we need to know the solution to all of these problems, and they are well packaged in that book, The Final Solution. The amount of money is next to nothing. Go to Amazon and buy this book. Go to the Kindle, go to KDP and buy this book. It's very important. So it is in Amazon and Kindle. And of course you can purchase the paperback, but it's not about the money. It's about the contents to have solution to Ukraine, to Russia, to the West, to the East, and indeed all parts of the world. Do get a copy and let's start operating the solution of God to our time.
Yes, viewers around the world, you're welcome. Another beautiful day, Wednesday, 19th of October, 2022. And we're back again with our news echo, Global African Affairs. I'm here in the studio with my friends from all corners of the earth. Yes, from Canada, Sir George Chukwu, from Nigeria, Africa, Dr. Sita Anemeka in Abuja. And also joining us now is Dr. Godwin from Russia. You're all welcome, gentlemen. You're welcome.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
before
Thank
we
you for
went
having
on
us.
break, we were talking on the updates. A lot of things are happening. And one of such is yesterday night, we had the bandits are still running the streets of Zamfara. The bandits are still running the streets of Bauchi. And we're asking, how are we going to vote? How are we going to go into our election season if banditry is still the order of the day in Nigeria? So, Sir George, what were you going to say? Let's start with you, sir.
Well, like I said before, it falls into the same conversation we were having about what you call retarded government. How can you have the Air Force, the Navy, and the military, and the police in your country, and the bandits are ruling you, telling you what to do, how to do it, when to do it? They come in. See, the same way the oil situation, the oil bunkering is, It's exactly the same way this banditry is taking place. Don't tell me that they don't know. They are able to go to Kenya and pick up Nnamdi Kanu, and within our own back door, we are not able to control these bandits. So, if that is the case, if that is the case with the oil bunkering, the government on top knows what's going on. I can guarantee you that if they want to eliminate this banditry, they will do it. But they are allowing it because it feeds into their own narratives, into their conversation. It helps them out. Don't be too surprised that if real investigation is taking place, that some of these governors, don't be surprised that they are getting some of the money being paid to some of these bandits. Because it starts from the top down. If it goes from the bottom up, they will crush it. They are elephants. These are ants. So that's exactly what you need to understand. Remember, when Boko Haram was festering all over the place, Jonathan's wife, the former president, good luck, Jonathan, that former funny story that we were telling. Now you only waka come. You only came alone. Nobody asked the question. Why was she asking that question? Because all the claims about all the people that were kidnapped and everything, nobody showed up. Because they understood through intelligence that this was a planned, orchestrated, well organized by certain factions of the government to frustrate that government. They knew what was going on. So when you get the real president of Nigeria, these people are nothing but ants. Nigeria is an elephant compared to them. They will crush them. They will run them out of the country. You watch. Get a good president and see what's going to happen.
Thank you very much. Get a good president and see what's going to happen. Dr. Ibe, how are you seeing all of this from Russia? But before you speak, somebody just wrote, we discussed about the flood crisis in Nigeria, very pathetic situation going on there. And somebody, Ume Okware Okeke, says the flood case could be very political. The seeming oversight preventive actions, particularly. The flood has only affected areas that increase the probability of I think his comment continues somewhere. Anyway, we talked about that. Dr. Ibe, how are you seeing all of this? We are going to election. We have flood crisis. Now the bandits are still running our streets, and we are supposed to be talking who leads us. We are supposed to be gathering and harnessing ourselves for a new Nigeria that we all desire. How do you copy this from Russia?
Well, it's very sad, but I think it's already a cliche if I keep on, I can't run out of words to express the detrimental effects of this. It's not new to everyone. No one likes it. Everyone hates it. It's clear. It's not helpful to us. It's clear. But the part I want to stress on is maybe the part that is not often looked at. And it's the part of debt of the country and foreign capital investment or foreign direct investment. If you're not able to guarantee security, it's one of the factors for foreign direct investment, the most important, apart from profit. In fact, even if the profit is so low, but there's security and stability, you are more likely going to get foreign direct investment than if you have very high profits and very unstable and volatile. So we are an indebted nation. We have lots of debt. Even Lagos is one of the most indebted states. I plan to even touch on this topic in detail in upcoming episode. But yeah, so this is not helping us both in terms of development, in terms of getting people out of poverty, and it also increases the cost of production. So it puts us at a competitive disadvantage. So if we have to spend more on guaranteeing our security as an additional variable cost. I would say variable cost. It's not a fixed cost because the amount of security you would employ will be depending on the amount of money you're moving and how critical the infrastructure the business is. So it's a variable cost, sadly, and it will keep going up depending on how strategic your business or how profitable your business is. All this adds to cost of production, including the kidnapping insurance, which staffs are having, employers are having to get for their employees. This all makes us very uncompetitive, and it all goes down to not helping us get out of poverty in the medium to long term. So these are the aspects I want to. It doesn't help us get out of debt. It doesn't help us get out of poverty. It puts us at a competitive disadvantage. Now, about the ability of the government to prevent this, like just like Sir George said, it's clear that the government is either complacent, or how do you say it, or
Complicit.
or part of it, yeah, complicit or part of it somehow, um, because um, because yeah, just like the oil, because you can't say you have the military, navy, and all of that, and all this is going on, but you could also learn from some other countries. Russia, for example, has been one country, after the fall of the Soviet Union, during a period of crisis, um there's been this kind of there was this kind of we used to call them skinheads, these ultra nationalists. Yeah, yeah, you must have heard about them, ultra nationalists. They were on the street. Sometimes when I was studying, sometimes we get a message from the embassy or from our community that, oh, there was an attack on this street, don't go nowhere. We just don't go to classes that day. And then Putin said, like, enough is enough. Now we don't even hear about them. Like, it's not a phenomenon anymore. Once a strong leader says, okay, it's enough, what's going on? Yeah, a leader that really controls all the levels of the government, once he says enough is enough, it becomes enough, because not only the people, their family members that are involved, that close their eyes and let their son and don't report to the police, they will also be held liable. And so all these sugarcoating things, these people are not ghosts. When they finish their robbery, they come back at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. somewhere to relax. They have a girlfriend. She's probably a prostitute. Who is also making some money. Yeah, when the business is good, she's there. When business is not good, she's also hustling by the side. So everything is very clear. Someone knows, not someone, many people know what they do, about what they do, where they go, when they come back, and cover them, provide an umbrella for them. So when you have a strong leader who is ready to say enough is enough, you don't. It's a long time we heard about ultranationalism in Russia. It's so long. We don't even know how they just disappeared. It's like a miracle. But we know what was behind it, but we don't know how exactly it happened. We know what, but we don't know how. Just someone said enough is enough, and that's it.
Good.
So
Enough is
that's
enough.
it.
How we wish this could be copied into. We could emulate this style, this Putin style he used. I know of the skinhead. I know how they ravaged Russia back in the days, and all of a sudden we don't hear about them again. So, Dr. Sita, you are there in Abuja, and you're probably witnessing some of these things. I mean, how can we be talking of election season, campaign season, and we're still dealing with fraud, we're still dealing with bandits, unknown gunmen, and all these things? How can we go to election with all this, Dr. Sita? Dr. Sita, can you hear me? Okay, I think it's his network. Anyway, yes, we're moving on. Dr. Sita, can you hear me? Okay. Okay, we're moving on. There are also updates of.
Okay, were you talking to me? Can
Yes,
you hear me
yes, sir.
now?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, we know the
Okay,
network.
let me patch in a single sentence to what these two great people have said. They got it right. But somebody in power, somebody high up in power, somebody with the rank of El Rufai, called the bandits businessmen.
he said these are businessmen transacting business in Nigeria, just like the Igbos are doing business in the Southeast. So you can see what we're dealing with. It's a leadership crisis. It's impunity. He could say that to the media, he could say that publicly, and still remains the governor of a state. It's impunity. So they are Sir George said that they are ants. I believe that they can be crushed. Dr. Ibe said any good leader, will give us a good direction. That is true. But the issue is, for how long are we going to wait for that good leader to come? If we don't get it right now, if we don't do what we're supposed to do now, these people will walk the streets for the next 20 years because it is profit to them. Somebody here just said that it's possible that our current leadership has a part in the loot. And nobody's arguing it. I can't argue that. Because there must be something. Abacha said it. If what's it called? Mutiny continues for more than 24 hours, government has a hand in it. Government has a hand in it. That is Abacha. That was Abacha in his own days. And now we are seeing it happen. So let's also do the right thing. Like I said the last time, what we are doing here is contributing to the good of our nation. Let's also go back to our places and tell the people, get your PVC, vote in who you think help us get it right, and then let's move forward. That's just my simple contribution to that.
That's just it. Thank you very much. So this is it, ladies and gentlemen, listening to us. Yes, Nigeria is enduring a rise in insecurity, while armed actors are establishing new killing fields. They are establishing new killing fields all over Nigeria and taking up spots, taking up territories. So this is what this is where we find ourselves. And interestingly, we are going to election. So we hope something will be done so that people can come out in mass and vote on the day of election. So that people will not be afraid. Somebody has already told me, a friend of mine here in Europe said, Mark, I won't make my family go to vote because I don't know what might happen that day. And I said, no, you will be taking away some 1 or 2 or 3, 4 vote count from the numbers. So he said, because I don't know what will happen that day. Anyway, that's how it is. And it's a sad one. Yes, from all gentlemen, current updates. What do you people have from your various corners? What are the updates? Let me start with Dr. Ibe. Dr. Ibe, what's the current situation of things concerning Africa, concerning Nigeria from your corner? What do you have?
Yeah. So the comparative advantages of Nigeria, which are interesting to the world, is the fact that cheap labor, oil exports, and being member of OPEC Plus. Yeah. Sadly, Nigeria is not member of BRICS, and they don't seem to have shown enough interest in that. I do not even understand why Nigeria is playing this. It's called polemics. Yeah, polemics. Joining the East or the West in the battle instead of positioning themselves to take advantage of the trends and political like Turkey is doing. Turkey will sell drones to Ukraine and still come and be a gas hub for Russia. Like just the very same day. It doesn't even need to pass 24 hours. And Nigeria seems to be always caught up behind, following instead of leading, except it's in the wrong direction. And from my end, we see BRICS expanding with Saudi Arabia trying to join. We have Argentina, Iran, South Africa is already there. South Africa, by the way, is very, very geopolitically sensible country. Nigeria has a lot to learn from Saudi Arabia in terms of strategy, foreign policy. And concerning export, there's been an agreement of OPEC Plus to reduce production of crude oil by 2 million barrels, in defiance of the wishes of, let's say, EU and the US. But they claim that they do this to protect, for economic reasons, to protect the market. Who knows? That's what they say. Not everyone agrees with that. But how much of a role Nigeria plays if it isn't Saudi Arabia calling all the shots and Russia? how much of Nigerian interest is protected if 95% of our oil is stolen? Let's say we have 5% left. Does the reduction of 2 million barrel concern us? You know, does it really concern us? The 95%, there are no taxes paid on that. That's just money, and the money that is being paid on that, the refining of that stolen crude is not refined in Nigeria; it's refined out, so it's not even contributing to our gross domestic product. So I just want to mention those development and how Nigeria doesn't seem to have positioned itself well in the geopolitical space. We shouldn't really be playing these games of east-west. Rather, we should be looking out for our interest and having to make sure, for example, payment systems. It's great to have MasterCard, Visa card. They're so reliable and wonderful. Why not also consider Union Pay, Kata, Mir? Create some redundancy in your payment system. Just so many things I see, and I think like our country is still in kindergarten in terms of strategic interest.
Thank you very much. In terms of strategic interest, we're still grouping in the dark. Yes, Sir George, what's from your corner? What do you see? Nigeria, Africa. What are those things that could be highlighted?
Well, recently I just heard about Burkina Faso canceling all the secret contracts they had with France because of the new government.
That's correct.
These are things that has siphoned our wealth for many years, destroyed Africa as a whole because of the chokehold that these countries have had on us. I think it is about time for us to become a sovereign nation in Nigeria. And I believe that a good governor, a good president who will come with understanding of the international rules and regulations and how it will benefit us, like what Dr. Ibe was saying. See, because we don't consider that. All we consider in Nigeria is what will benefit my pocket. If it will benefit my pocket, I will side with these other people. If I can hide wealth with these people and they can help me to move my money outside of the country and then nobody will say anything, I will side with them. We are not thinking about the interest of the nation, the economic welfare of the nation, like what Dr. Ibe was saying. So now these people are divorcing France. Nigeria needs to do that. We need to come to the point where we discover every single loophole that they've had, that where all our money is going to them. Bring that money back home. Help your own people. We still have our, allies, and we can still be allies with them, but not to our own disadvantage, because this is what has been going on. So, when you really think about it, and another area that we're thinking about now is exportation of goods from our country. We are able to produce and mass produce a lot of things that can be exported outside of that nation, beside oil and gas and any other mineral. Food products can leave Nigeria. Nigeria can feed the whole West Africa if we put our minds to it. I can guarantee you that. And I believe that when we get a good government, a good president who understands all these little things, then you will see the villagers begin to mass produce. They will go back to the farms. Nobody goes to the farms anymore in Nigeria. Only a handful of people in the north. Come to the southeast. Nobody cultivates anything anymore. But when we bring benefits back to them, where we can have a proper logistics, where you can pick up all these products and take it to the factories where they can be manufactured or put together and shipped outside of the country, you will see them go back to the farms again. And especially when you teach them mechanized farming, show them what to do, give them light, give them a little security. Everybody's running away from the north now when it comes to farming. So how do you expect to feed the nation? So you have to import food.
Sir,
No,
thank you very much, Sir George. Thank you very much.
We
That's a
need
good point.
a serious revolution in that country. Serious revolution. And until that revolution comes, it will remain like it is.
Thank you very much, Sir George. Yes, Dr. Sita. Sir George just he went a little bit deeper. Dr. Sita, what is it from your corner? You are home board. You're there. You're seeing what is going on. So what do you want to say? Updates on security.
Okay. Something we know that is popular, something that is quite popular, but people are not discussing the root. There is what they call House of Knowledge in Nigeria. Now, this is the school where they train Yahoo boys. This is so original. Young boys pay as much as 1 million, 2 million naira to stay in class to learn how to be fraudulent. And let me tell you what has been connected now. It is that there are high, top echelon internet boys from China. These are criminals from China who have committed crimes and have fled the country to live in Nigeria. So they are using the Nigerian base to train young Africans, particularly Nigerians, on how to do their thing. So recently, in the last week, we've heard that China has established police stations in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, China has established a police station in Nigeria to include the ones that are in Europe and Africa. In Africa, Tanzania and Lesotho already have Chinese police stations. So now Nigeria has a Chinese police station to deal with these criminals out of China that is training these young men. So what it tells us is that we have become so porous that we need a Chinese law enforcement on the streets of Nigeria to help curb the excesses of foreigners in this country who are turning the country back. My joy with that, I don't know where it will lead. I don't know what it portends in the future. But also, these people who are hacking into INEC websites, INEC content, are traced to them. We already are in trouble. We're in a mess. But we're hoping that if this goes on well, because nobody knows where it leads, nobody actually knows how far it will go. If it goes on well, it might help curb the House of Knowledge issue and also help us determine who is planning to destroy the country via election rigging.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sita. Dr. Sita, how we wish we could add more time to our network, to our time slot, but it's almost time. But it's beautiful. You just took us to a different angle that needs to be looked into, and I think we'll look more in this on Thursday, on Friday, when we come for the global news update. Also joining us, but coming late, is our good brother correspondent from Enugu in Nigeria, Simon Peters. But sadly, we don't have the time, so he'll be joining us on Friday. Simon Peters, you're welcome, but we see you on Friday, and we hope you'll be on time to give us the updates. Okay. Thank you for coming. So on this note, gentlemen, to leave a good one in our taste board, there was an event not too far from where I am, right there in Paris. There is this event they have every end of the year, and it's called the Ballon d'Or. It's a football event, one of the highest football award events, very glamorous event. And one of our own, we have our own dear daughter, African Nigerian daughter, and that's Asisat Oshiasa. I don't know if I get the name right. She was placed in the category, the numbers. I think she came number 16 on the list that was celebrated that night. So it's a beautiful one. We are happy to have our Nigerians around the world doing very impressive things. And we just hope, like Dr. Ibe would say, the government should step into this and really harness things to make more good performance for our people. So on that note, gentlemen, thank you very much. This is it. This is News Echo Schengen Story. Dr. Sita from Abuja, Dr. Ibe from Russia, Sir George from Canada, and myself, Mike Godwin, signing out till we come again on Friday. God bless you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.